todo lo que estás a punto de escuchar puede volarte la cabeza. Porque lo que viene no es un simple cambio global. Es una manipulación espiritual tan profunda, un plan muy astutamente ejecutado, que si no despiertas ahora, podrías ser engañado junto con el resto del mundo. Este no es un video para gente tibia. Es una oportunidad a los pocos que todavía se atreven a pensar, a cuestionar y a buscar la verdad más allá del circo mediático y religioso. Quédate hasta el final para comprender el abominable objetivo principal de toda esta agenda más allá de su engañosa apariencia de piedad. ¿Sabías que el primer gran engaño de Satanás fue decirle a Eva, no morirás? Esa misma mentira, la inmortalidad del alma, es la base del espiritismo moderno, de la creencia antibíblica de la reencarnación, de las apariciones marianas, de los contactos extraterrestres y del falso avivamiento global en las iglesias que se está gestando ahora mismo. Nada es casualidad. Los jesuitas iluminados han trabajado por mucho tiempo bajo las sombras infiltrándose en las iglesias protestantes para destruirlas y conseguir su verdadero objetivo, oculto por largo tiempo. Así han logrado distraerlas, confundirlas y hacerlas sustituir la Biblia por emociones, visiones, experiencias y apariciones, para que pierdan credibilidad ante el mundo y menosprecien la fe en las sagradas escrituras para que nadie pueda encontrar la verdad que hay en ella. Millones están cayendo en las trampas sin saberlo. ¿Y si los seres de luz que dicen venir del espacio, no fueran alienígenas, sino ángeles caídos o demonios? El gran engaño final se disfrazará de contacto cósmico. ¿De dónde crees que surge el engaño de la nueva era? Para llevar al mundo a un falso evangelio global, una falsa espiritualidad. ¿Quieres comprender el objetivo del engaño de la nueva era y de las apariciones extraterrestres? Roger Morneau, quien participó en varias reuniones de las sociedades secretas, en la siguiente entrevista comparte su experiencia en el satanismo elitista, donde revela lo que conversó con un sacerdote de Satanás.
And the priest told us, we talked quite a while, and then he said, could I have a little bit more of your time? I want to tell you something very fascinating. He says, the grand plan, the master's grand plan, for harvesting the nations, for harvesting the multitudes of the earth into his cause, just before the close of the great controversy between the forces of good and evil. So we continued, after we expressed ourselves, we were deeply interested to know more about the activities of spirits. And he said it's going to be done in a unique manner. This grand plan is going to take people are going to eat the stuff. Because he says spirits, demon spirits, will declare themselves to be inhabitants of far distant planets in the galaxies that are coming to warn the inhabitants of planet Earth of the impending destruction of the planet unless something seriously proper is done to avoid it. And he went on and said, as I said earlier, that as life on this planet becomes more and more difficult and calamities will strike the planet more and more frequently, the spirits at that time are going to put all their effort to impress religious leaders, to bring before the masses of the earth the sacredness of Sunday. See? He will teach Sunday sacredness. And with the religious leaders, looking forward to 1,000 years of perfect peace on earth, they will put all their effort into it. Then, laws will be passed by governments. One person asked, what's going to happen about people that don't believe in the Spirit's recommendation? The priest says, that's no problem at all. Laws will be passed by governments that will force people to go along with it, regardless of whether they believe in it or not. And, he says, the law enforcement officers will explain to people, make it clear that such a law is necessary to assure the well-being of all people. He says the laws will be passed, no effort at all. And then he went on and he said about the fact that the venerability of the sun, which in ages past was such an irritant to the Creator. All of these great nations and other nations, of smaller ones, were all involved in sun worship. And in those centuries, the Creator found that teaching of worship of the sun to be a terrible irritant. And he said, it is going again to take place, but not in worshiping the sun, in remembering Sunday to keep it holy. He made a statement I will never forget. He says, by the observance of the day upon which the master, Satan, has placed the unction of his authority and power, he receives homage, regardless of whom people claim for him. Satan has chosen Sunday as his day. The Creator has chosen the seventh day of the week. Lucifer has chosen to call his day the first day of the week, Sunday. See? And regardless of what people claim to worship, worshiping God, the Creator, by observing that day, that particular day, they are bringing homage and respect. Shirley MacLaine's experience of getting involved in Spiritism and with the supposed inhabitants of far distant planets in the galaxies, I taped the whole thing. It's 3 hours.
And you were hearing the fulfillment of what this high priest had said 45 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. So he went on explaining about the fact that the spirits will show themselves willing to give valuable guidance that will not only help people avoid the destruction of the planet, but it would cause them to enter into a higher state of existence. For instance, he said the spirits will promise, this is a big word, promise, that if their recommendations are followed carefully, they will usher in a glorious new age of peace and prosperity, and there'll be there'll be no more wars. See, there'll be no more famines. There'll be no more people getting unhappy with one another. Neighbors will love neighbor, and social unrest will not take place no more. There'll be perfect happiness for 1,000 years. That's what the Spirit is going to promise. And
almost like the Garden of Eden created all over again.
And now we find that a lot of preachers have forgotten.
Satanás va a hacerse pasar por Cristo. Y cuando eso pase, millones, incluso dentro del cristianismo, caerán de rodillas ante el impostor. Lo dijo Jesús en Mateo 24, si fuere posible, aún los escogidos serán engañados. ¿Estás listo para discernir entre el Cristo verdadero y su imitación sobrenatural? Hollywood te programó para aceptarlo. Netflix te entrenó para normalizarlo. Y cuando se manifieste, será milagroso, pacífico, lógico, pero satánico. La unión de Iglesia y Estado ya está en marcha. El ecumenismo está borrando doctrinas. Las leyes dominicales se están proponiendo como solución climática. Y los que no se alineen, serán marcados como radicales, peligrosos, enemigos del bien común. Y la mayoría elegirá lo fácil, lo popular, lo cómodo, lo egoísta. Pero unos pocos elegirán la verdad. ¿Y tú, vas a permitir que lo impuesto y programado por tradición dicte tu fe? ¿O vas a despertar y buscar la verdad eterna en la palabra de Dios antes de que sea demasiado tarde? Si buscas una guía fácil de entender para reconocer todos los engaños satánicos en la religión en el tiempo del fin, descarga gratis el ebook, Los engaños finales de Satanás. El link de descarga está en la cajita de descripción. Este es un regalo de Dios para ti. Prepárate, despierta y decide de qué lado vas a estar cuando el mundo entero diga, este es Cristo, pero sea el dragón disfrazado. Comparte este video con quien amas. Porque puede salvarle la vida eterna. Apocalipsis es más que un libro simbólico, sus advertencias se están cumpliendo en vivo ante nosotros y su fin es darte esperanza y rescate a través de Cristo.